Okay, so I might be an a-hole for this, but I just said it. I told my sister-in-law straight up. She's expecting way too much from her wedding guest. Most people are starting to consider her a bridezilla. Let me tell you exactly what she's been up to. Am I the a-hole for telling my soon-to-be sister-in-law that they're asking too much of their wedding guest? So, a quick little backstory. My husband and his brother have always had a great relationship. His brother moved away when he was younger, and even though they're now 2 hours apart, they still regularly talk and play games online together. My husband is one of 6 children, and they all are sat in still contact and on good terms. His parents are also still married. About 3 years ago, his brother introduced us to his girlfriend at the time. She was originally from a different state, but moved here to be with him. Everything was fine until about a year into it, knowing her, when she started getting snotty and entitled. For one thing, she refused to work and expected him to support her and her mother, whom she'd brought with her when moving here. She began going through people's stuff, making snide comments, and she even told me that I was privileged, and said she would use our daughter's name for her daughter while I was in labor. She also wore sweatpants to our wedding and fell asleep at the reception. For the wedding, we were told we need to purchase medieval costumes, drive the 2 hours to their town, bring food for the reception, play outside games, and just recently she added that we need to take pictures on our phone for them since they can't afford a photographer. Yeah, I know. I mentioned to her that this all seemed like a lot to ask, especially considering they refused to come for any family events prior to this. And she told me if I did not like it, then I didn't have to come. I should add that my husband is in the wedding. She stopped responding to me after I said their attitude was hurtful and started telling my mother-in-law that I was hurting her again, and making up stories about us kicking them out of our house. This has began to affect my husband's relationship with his brother now. I feel bad, but at the same time, all my in-laws are happy I said something to her, and appalled at how snotty her and my brother-in-law have been lately. Am I the a-hole for saying something? What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. I hope you're having a great day. So there's an update that was posted for this story. We're going to jump into that now. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just take a second right now. Click that subscribe button right underneath this video if you want to see all the updates and stuff that comes out daily here on Mr. Reddito. Alright, let's hop into this update. The wedding was today. We arrived at the ceremony about 15 minutes before it was supposed to start. As we've been told, there was no rehearsal and just be there when the other guests would get there. We arrived at my husband and was greeted by his brother with, "Where have you been? We've been going over everything and you weren't here." Again, we've been told there was no rehearsal, but apparently his brother had decided that we should be going over everything an hour before the ceremony, and we were not informed. Anyways, my husband goes back to be with the wedding party and we sit down. They did end up getting a photographer, but she was very pushy, kept snapping in people's faces to get their attention. The ceremony was fine, typical wedding ceremony aside from the Renaissance outfits. But then we went to the reception. The reception was outdoors in a barn. It had been raining all day, so there was a lot of bugs. When we got there, no decorations have been set out, and there was only one table for people to eat at. Yeah, this was a group of 45. 2 hours after we got there, they started bringing the food in. Apparently, they had assigned one of the bride's older relatives to make all the food, and somewhere along the hustling and bustling of making food for all those people, the poor man had a heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital and, well, he's okay, but they had absolutely no backup plan. They ended up cooking all the food themselves when they got to the reception. They cut the cake without announcing it, so the photographer had to hastily run over there to get pictures. And after the cake cutting, the bride's entire family disappeared. We did not see them for the remainder of the time we were there. Her mother did come into the barn every half hour or so to smoke a cigarette, but that was it. There was no dancing, no bouquet toss because they carried lanterns instead, and the guests that were left kind of just stood there. Needless to say, it was chaos at its finest. Thank you everyone who commented on the original post. I'm sure we'll have many similar family gatherings in the future. Okay guys, so that was that. Let me know what you think about this wedding drama story. Here's a couple comments. My husband was affectionately known as, quote, "you big old dummy," by my father, who was the living embodiment of old Fred. Right down to the tendency to gather junk and say what he thought when he thought it. Sanford and Son theme was my ringtone for him. Best memories. Second comment says, to be honest, this whole thing felt like a Dwight and Angela's wedding. That's a The Office reference for those that don't know. In a barn. Sister-in-law is demanding. Then comment 2 stuck up for the barn wedding by saying this. In fairness, I've been to a wedding in a barn that was done right and it was lovely. Cleaned out, big long tables either side with a dance floor in the middle and a little stage at the closed end. Beautiful lighting throughout. It was definitely a more laid-back wedding, but as an intimate 50 to 50 person affair, it was great fun. So guys, there's that. Drop your thoughts down below exactly what you would do if you were in OP's position, and we'll turn our attention to the final story of the video. I'm going to divorce my husband of 10 years. And I destroyed my marriage with a stupid comment one night stand. Guys, I have something very special for you. I have a post from OP, which is the wife. Then I have another post that the husband posted after the wife, and we're going to look at both of them right now. My husband and I met when I was 18. It had always been just me and my best friend, but when my husband came along, we became an inseparable trio. For me, it was love at first sight. I had the biggest crush on him, but did not want to ruin the friendship thing that we had, so I kept it to myself. Until he confessed to me when we were 20. Things went fast and we got married when we were 22. My best friend got married too, and we all have remained close. We had invited my best friend and her husband around for dinner and were joking about things when we got up, and my husband brought up how he had always had a crush on my best friend. But then she got a boyfriend, so he settled for me instead. When I tell you the whole world just came crashing down, I realized my marriage of 10 years was him settling for second best, that I was never his first option. After that, everything he did just started to annoy me. He just stopped being attractive to me anymore. We haven't slept together in 6 months because I feel so disgusted. I just want out. I feel like I've wasted my life. I'm disappointed in him and myself for believing I was the one he liked. Quick little edit here. Okay, I'll just answer the main questions here because I don't want to keep answering them. No, yes, I don't care, I don't know, I tried to talk about it for 6 months. Second edit. Husband knows about the divorce. I told my best friend and she told my husband, so I come home to a don't leave him intervention where they all wanted to work it out. I've never been so confused because for the past 6 months, I've been trying to ask him what he feels and what he meant by his comment, and to answer my questions like literally to the point I've screamed to his face, just to tell me, and he's been saying nothing, and she's been encouraging me to talk to him but keeping her distance. I thought it was because she did not like him. Apparently, she just thinks we're a perfect fit together and he doesn't want to lose what we have. What do? We're basically roommates who have sex at this point. I think I won't update this because I'm a bit miffed and angry. I'm going to go stay at my mom's or something. Update number 1. Okay, so pretty major update that I said I wouldn't do, but I'm not a man of my words, and never said I was. Today I got a message from best friend's husband, asking where she was, and I had no idea, because I'm at my mother's house. Can we guess where she is? She's at my ducking house, with my ducking husband. What weird freaking universe am I living in? Anyways, yeah, so I'm leaving, taking all my stuff with me. My mom will have to put up with me for a while. Divorce is definitely happening, I'm just going to get some therapy now. Okay guys, so that's an interesting perspective from OP. However, Now I have something for you guys. It's going to be the husband's version of what actually happened. That was posted 4 days before the updated thread. Here's what the husband had to say. I destroyed my marriage with a stupid comment and a one-night stand. So I found my wife's post. I'm going to divorce my husband of 10 years. Here we go. I would like to tell my side. When I met my wife, I did not really think much of her. She was funny, kind, and a good friend, but I had no other interest. Her friend Sarah, oh man, was gorgeous. She had long red hair, these soft freckles, and long eyelashes. She was my dream girl, but she was not interested in me one bit. I noticed my wife Amber was hanging out with me, laughing at my jokes, listening to me, and it made me consider having more of a relationship with her. Sarah got a boyfriend about a year into us being friends, and her interest in our friendship group just dwindled. She hung out with us less and spent more time with her boyfriend, which left me and Amber alone a lot. I ended up giving up on Sarah and focusing on Amber. We started dating, got married, but we kept our friendship with Sarah, but just focused on each other. In the back of my mind, though, it always felt like I've missed out on something. My marriage, well, it was boring. Amber and I were basically friends, and I was working hard to save for a house. She was working hard to save for future children, so we were just existing alongside each other, not actually together. So one day, when we were at dinner, I got jealous of Sarah and her husband, who seemed happy, and I made this stupid comment about settling for Amber. Amber just shut down after that. She kept repeating the same questions over and over, and it would make me so angry that I did not want to answer them. So, I didn't. I guess that was my first bad move. Sarah messaged me after the dinner to check if I was okay, and we kept just messaging back and forth. She was reassuring me that I did nothing wrong and it would work out. Then I got a text saying Amber was planning to divorce me. So Sarah came over. We tried to stop her from leaving me, but it seemed to only make things worse with the intervention. Sarah saw how distraught I was and stayed to comfort me. We drank, and in a couple of stupid drunken mistakes, we ended up sleeping together. Yeah, me and Sarah. Sarah confessed to her husband that we slept together, and her husband told Amber. Now both our marriages are ruined. I regret it so much, and I just wish I could have taken it all back.